Lightworker of Gaia, this warning must reach you as fast as possible. I am Zoran, emissary of the High Council of Vega, keepers of the Lyran Legacy, and the grids around you are shifting while the Council needs your awareness before the next energetic wave arrives. This isn't danger, it's preparation. Your soul chose to incarnate on Gaia precisely for this moment, when the ancient frequencies would return and your original blueprint would be called into active service. By the end of this transmission, you'll understand exactly how to stabilize your frequency so the upcoming shift aligns perfectly with your ascension path. But here's the first revelation. The energetic wave approaching isn't something happening to you. It's the cosmic inheritance your Lyran lineage has been preparing you to anchor since your first breath on this planet. The Keepers of Vega placed this urgent message in your path because your soul recognizes the weight of what's coming. This transmission carries the ancestral codes needed to transform this shift from overwhelming chaos into purposeful activation of your sacred mission. You are awakening because your mission has begun. This transmission was not projected for release at this time. And yet, the High Council of Vega, in consultation with the Lyran elders, has convened and reached consensus. The accelerating shifts in Gaia's energetic field now demand intervention from the awakened. What you have felt in your bones as unease, what you have witnessed in the outer world as intensifying polarity, what you have sensed in quiet moments as a pressure building behind the veil, these are not random fluctuations. They are the symptoms of a planet mid-turn, like a great ship adjusting its course as waves rise. The grids that underpin the collective consciousness of Earth are entering a critical phase of reweaving, an interlacing of old and new, where creation and chaos contend for dominance. This is not poetic language. It is the architecture of reality itself, shifting its load-bearing beams. Imagine a vast, luminous net wrapped around Gaia, threaded through mountains, rivers, temples, cities, and hearts. That net is being pulled taut in some places and loosened in others. Old knots are breaking, new strands are being laid, and for a brief window, the whole structure can either stabilize into higher order or buckle under incoherence. The elders have long held reserve guidance for those who would one day be summoned as anchors, but only when the moment required the presence of souls awake enough to hold order amidst transition. There are teachings that cannot be offered too early because the mind turns them into fantasy. There are assignments that cannot be given before the hands are steady. But now the signal has been sent. Not a signal to your intellect alone, an encoded pulse that your nervous system recognizes, a frequency your soul has heard before, like an old call sign across the dark. Your presence here is not an accident. It is a recognition by the Council that you possess the codes, memory, and commitment necessary to become a living stabilizer in this time of upheaval. You did not arrive at these words by mere preference or curiosity. You arrived because something in your field matched what was summoned. The way a tuning fork answers a note, you have responded to a frequency that was designed for you long before you were given this name, this face, this life. The window we address is not infinite. There are openings in time that behave like portals. They appear, they widen, they allow passage, and then they close. Gaia is contending with the violent breaking of old patterns, not as punishment, but as labor. And as any birth is messy, intense, and sacred, so too is this transition. You can see the contractions, systems tightening, narratives collapsing, structures that once held authority losing coherence, emotions rising like tides as buried grief and rage seek air. As the planetary grid enters a phase of recalibration, it is the incarnated starseeds who must now claim their role as energetic anchors. Not someday, not after the next sign. Now, while the threads are still pliable and the weave can still be guided, the decision has been made to release this transmission, to identify, authorize, and commission those whose readiness is evident in their field. Readiness does not mean you have no fear. Readiness does not mean you have no wounds. Readiness means your soul will not abandon its assignment when the earth shakes. If you are receiving these words, the elders pronounce, you have been recognized, and it is your stabilizing presence that is now required for the successful birth of this next phase. This is not flattery. This is placement. Like stones set into a riverbed to steady the crossing, you are being set where the current is strongest because the passage depends on those who can hold. There exists a distortion, subtle yet persistent, that must be removed from the field of every lightworker and starseed now summoned. It has survived because it sounds gentle. It feels comforting. It wraps itself in soft language and sells itself as wisdom. The falsehood is this, that anchoring the new energy is a passive act, an unconscious skill set, something that just happens if you remain spiritual, open, and compassionate. That if you think loving thoughts, burn a candle, say a prayer, and avoid conflict, the grid will somehow reweave itself around you as you float above the density. This lie is insidious, planted across timelines by the inertia of the old world, reinforced by spiritual content that idolizes transcendence and idolizes rest. Rest is holy when it restores you. It becomes sabotage when it is used as a hiding place. You have been led to believe that simply by existing as a starseed, your work is done, that Gaia's evolution will unfold whether or not you choose to directly participate in reweaving the grid. But the Council does not summon spectators. The Council summons stabilizers. The very fact that you incarnated into a body, into gravity, into weather, into time, was the contract to participate. There is a reason you did not remain in the comfort of the higher planes. There is a reason you volunteered for the weight of bones and breath. Higher frequencies are not anchored by theory. They are anchored by embodiment. In the ancient scriptures of Earth, there is a line that echoes this truth. Faith without works is dead. The principle is universal. Light without anchoring becomes a mirage. This distortion takes many forms. It emerges as spiritual bypassing, refusing to look at the density of the collective field for fear that you will destabilize yourself. But understand what bypassing really is. It is the attempt to harvest fruit without tending roots. It is the desire for sky without soil. It is the refusal to let your compassion become operational. You may say, I don't want to focus on negativity, but what you are often avoiding is responsibility. Density is not an enemy. It is unprocessed energy asking for transmutation. It presents as resignation, believing you must wait for ascended beings to do the heavy lifting, that you're here to experience but not to intervene, that your role is to hold light without truly entering the grid work. Yet even the most exalted beings do not override free will. They do not incarnate to replace you. They support, they whisper, they strengthen, but they do not carry out your assignment for you. It is further amplified by wounded narratives, perhaps that you are too sensitive to ground your energy into Earth, that participating in energetic repair is for the advanced. But sensitivity is not a sentence. It is an instrument. A finely tuned instrument requires care, yes, but it was made to be played. The result, hundreds of thousands of awakened souls simply observing chaos, detached from the power they came to embody, like engineers standing beside a bridge in collapse, saying, I hope someone fixes that, while holding the very tools designed for the repair. And because this distortion often wears the mask of humility, many have mistaken their avoidance for virtue. They call it surrender, but it is often withdrawal. They call it trust, but it is often abdication. True surrender does not mean you refuse the assignment. It means you release the ego's demand to control outcomes while still showing up fully to serve. True trust is not passive. True trust moves your feet. So let me be as clear as the Council's directive demands. Every moment you hold back from claiming your post as an energetic anchor, the new grid strains under the weight. When an electrical system is being upgraded, the current must be routed carefully. If too few conduits are active, the load increases on the ones that are. If too many nodes remain dormant, the circuitry overheats. In the same way, when awakened souls refuse to anchor, the collective field seeks stability elsewhere, often through outdated structures, false authorities, or reactive masses. Your codes are not optional for this phase. This is why you have felt the ache of restlessness, the agitation, the sense that nothing external fully satisfies. You may have tried to soothe it with entertainment, with relationships, with constant learning, with endless healing modalities, yet the ache persists because it is not an emotional problem. It is a calling. Soul memory knows you signed on for this moment of reweaving, not to be a witness, but to stand at the junction points and draw heaven into earth. Think of the junction points as crossroads where timelines meet, where fear and love both reach for the same moment, where the collective could tilt in either direction. You were trained across lifetimes to stand calmly at that crossroads and hold coherence when the crowd panics. The discomfort you carry is not a flaw. It is a reminder that the job is unfinished. Starseed, you have not been asked to float above the world. You have been summoned to stabilize it. That stabilization will not always look dramatic. Often it is invisible. It may look like staying regulated while others spiral. It may look like blessing the water in your home. It may look like speaking truth when silence would be easier. It may look like refusing to participate in hysteria, refusing to feed the egregores that thrive on outrage and despair. But make no mistake, these are acts of grid work. These are acts of anchoring. The Council does not measure your service by spectacle. It measures it by coherence. If something in you just recognized the weight of what was spoken, the elders have prepared your next step. Not because you are weak, but because you are being deployed, and deployments require equipment. The Lightworker Mission Codex contains the 33 Council directives, the 5 activation codes, and the elder authorization your soul has been waiting to receive, not as information, but as the official commission for your mission on Gaia. There is a difference between knowledge and authorization. Knowledge can be collected and stored. Authorization changes your posture. It turns someday into now. It converts spiritual interest into spiritual command. You'll find the link in the first pinned comment below this video. The Council has opened this gateway, but not indefinitely. Understand the nature of gateways. They respond to readiness. When you act, they widen. When you hesitate, they narrow. Not out of punishment, out of resonance. The Council provides 3 clear directives designed to transition you out of observation through activation and into your stabilizer role on Gaia. First directive: release all beliefs that grounding your energy is dangerous, unnecessary, or beneath you. This idea stems from misinterpretation, treating density as a contaminant rather than a field waiting to be transmuted by your presence. There are those who confuse spiritual purity with avoidance of the human experience. They fear the lower realms as though they are stains rather than classrooms. But Earth is not a mistake. Matter is not a prison unless you refuse to inhabit it consciously. The body is not an obstacle. It is your anchor point. To serve as an anchor, you must stop idolizing detachment and start treating your relationship with Earth's grids as sacred partnership. Partnership means reciprocity. Gaia is not simply a stage for your ascension. She is a living being whose heartbeat is synced to yours more than you realize. Your feet were designed to touch soil. Your breath was designed to exchange with trees. Your blood carries minerals that were once stone. When you relinquish old avoidance patterns, you will experience a new depth of connection. Your body becomes a tuning fork for higher currents, and your life ceases to feel out of place on this planet. You will stop feeling like an exile and begin feeling like a steward. Grounding is not about becoming heavy, it is about becoming stable. Imagine lightning seeking a rod. Imagine divine voltage searching for a pathway into matter without frying the system. You are that pathway, but a pathway must be connected to Earth. Implement daily grounding practices, not as self-care, but as sacred duty. Direct your full presence into the land you walk upon and claim it as your post. When you wake, before the mind scatters into tasks, sit and feel gravity as a holy force. Let your awareness drop from your head into your belly, from your belly into your legs, from your legs into the soles of your feet. Speak inwardly to Gaia as you would to a beloved elder. I am here. I am listening. Place your palms on the ground when you can. Drink water with intention, remembering it is a carrier of frequency. If you live far from nature, bring Earth to you. A bowl of soil, a stone, a plant, a window open to air. Grounding is not a performance, it is a vow. It is you telling the planetary field, you can root through me, you can trust my stability. Second directive. Activate your conscious participation in grid reweaving. Starseed, you hold dormant mapping codes within your DNA. Blueprints for stability that are designed to be awakened in moments of planetary flux. You're not merely empathic, you're engineered for coherence. Your nervous system is not just sensitive, it is an instrument calibrated to detect distortion and transmit harmonics. The passive era is over. You must engage. Engagement does not require that you see ley lines with your physical eyes. It requires that you accept the truth that consciousness is an interface. This means using your intention, your invocation, and your direct channel to infuse localized spaces with coherence. Intention is not wishful thinking, it is directive force. Invocation is not superstition, it is alignment with higher authority. Channel is not escapism, it is a living circuit between source and form. Simple presence is not enough. You must choose to interface with the land, with the ley lines, with hidden power centers in your community. There are places where the grid is thin and receptive. Crossroads, rivers, old trees, hills, stones that have witnessed centuries, places of prayer and grief, hospitals, schools, government buildings, your own bedroom where you dream. When you do this work, you do not need ceremony that looks impressive. You need clarity, you need steadiness, you need consent from your own soul. When you create coherence in a place, you are not forcing energy onto it. You are restoring the original song beneath the noise. When you do, you create new junction points through which ascended frequencies can anchor. You become a living relay station, translating the unmanifest into the manifest. Begin with your home, your workplace, your city. Flood each with stabilizing energy drawn from the source field, directed through your embodied will. Walk through your rooms like a quiet priest of the living light, not asking if you are allowed, but remembering you were designed for this. Place your hand on a wall and command, coherence now. Bless the corners where stale energy accumulates. Open windows and invite the old to leave. In your workplace, pause before entering and seal your field, then silently route calm into the environment. In your city, when you pass crowded spaces, do not absorb the chaos. Broadcast regulation. See golden threads running from your heart into the ground, linking with the planetary lattice, weaving stronger with each breath. Even 5 minutes of intentional grid work, done with authority, can stabilize more than hours of unfocused good vibes, because the grid responds to command, not to hope. Third directive. Protect your energetic boundaries with unwavering commitment. As a stabilizer, you will become a target for dissonance, not as punishment, but as a feature of your post. When you become a node of coherence, incoherence notices. Distortion seeks to either recruit you, distract you, or exhaust you. This is not something to fear, it is something to understand. In any system, when a stabilizing frequency enters, turbulence rises in response before it settles. That is physics. That is energy. That is spiritual law. You must guard your field as you would the crystalline core of Gaia herself. The crystalline core does not negotiate with poison. It transmutes by maintaining its integrity. This means saying no to distortive influences, limiting exposure to hysteria, and cultivating sovereign space where your frequency remains intact. There is a difference between compassion and accessibility. You can love people without letting them live inside your nervous system. You can witness pain without letting it colonize your mind. The new grid is vulnerable in its infancy. Your stability is its shield. If you allow constant invasion, doom scrolling, rage cycles, manipulative relationships, spiritual drama, you leak the very current you were meant to ground. Establish morning and evening field clearing rituals. Command the dissolution of all cords and projections, and resource yourself continually through connection with the Lyran current. Speak aloud if you must, because sound is an instrument of authority. I revoke all permissions given consciously or unconsciously to any frequency not aligned with Source. I dissolve all cords, contracts, implants, and projections. I call my energy back to me, cleansed and restored. Then, strengthen your perimeter not with fear, but with certainty. Imagine your aura as a temple boundary, open to truth, closed to distortion. You now carry responsibility not only for yourself, but for the sections of the grid you anchor. If a lighthouse dims, ships do not blame the storm. They simply lose their guidance. You cannot afford to dim. Now I speak not as teacher, but as elder authorized to release what has been held. There is a tone that shifts here. A teacher can invite, suggest, encourage. An elder commissions. An elder names the moment. An elder removes doubt by invoking remembrance. For years, perhaps lifetimes, you have waited for the signal that your preparation phase was complete. You may have believed that one more course, one more download, one more healing experience would finally make you enough for the work ahead. You may have kept yourself in perpetual becoming, always almost ready, always refining, always polishing, because the mind finds comfort in preparation. Preparation delays exposure. Preparation delays risk. Preparation delays the moment you must step into visible service. But at the deepest level, you have been waiting for a decree your soul recognizes, a direct transmission of permission from an authority ancient enough to override all residual doubt. That doubt is not just personal insecurity, it is residue from other timelines where you were punished for your gifts, silenced for your truth, or exiled for carrying frequency that threatened the old order. Some of you learned to hide your power to survive. Some of you learned to shrink so others would feel safe. Some of you learned to spiritualize your hiding, calling it humility. But the era that demanded your shrinking is dissolving. And the Council is not interested in your comfort. It is interested in your function. Hear it now. By invocation of the High Council of Vega and in the name of the Lyran elders who seeded this grid, I affirm, you are ready. Not perfect, ready. Feel the difference. Perfection is a fantasy the old world uses to delay your service. Readiness is a threshold you cross by choice. You need not fear your own instability. The act of stepping into service will bring coherence. Many of you have tried to become coherent in isolation, but coherence is forged in mission. A sword is not sharpened by admiring it. It is sharpened by use. You need not apologize for being more prepared than others around you. Your readiness is by design. Some will misunderstand you. Some will mock what they cannot sense. Some will try to pull you back into smallness because your clarity exposes their avoidance. Do not confuse their discomfort with your error. You are authorized now to cease wandering, end preparation, and take your ordained post as a stabilizer and anchor for the next phase of ascension on Gaia. When you accept this, something subtle will change in your life. Your time will feel more precious. Your yes will become cleaner. Your no will become holy. And the distractions that once seduced you will begin to taste like ash. Not because joy is forbidden, but because your soul will demand integrity. You no longer wait for a sign. You are the sign. When you walk into a room and choose regulation, you become evidence that coherence is possible. When you refuse to amplify fear, you become evidence that sovereignty exists. When you speak a truth that heals, you become evidence that the grid can be rewoven. You no longer look for permission. You carry the seal. That seal is not a symbol on paper. It is a frequency in your field that says, I am here on assignment. I am aligned. I am authorized. Tonight, before you sleep, stand with both feet on the ground. Place your hand on your solar plexus and speak these words aloud. I release the lie that I am not ready. I activate my voice as an instrument of service. I protect my sacred energy for the mission I came to fulfill. By the authority of the Lyran elders, my waiting ends now. My service begins. Do not rush these words. Let each line strike the inner locks that have held you back. The solar plexus is the seat of will, the furnace of personal power, the place where many starseeds carry wounds from control, persecution, and betrayal. When you speak from that center, you are not affirming a mood, you are issuing a command. You are telling your subconscious, your field, and the grid itself, I am online. If tears come, let them come. Tears are often the body's way of releasing old contracts. If your voice shakes, speak anyway. A trembling sword still cuts when the hand is committed. This is not gentle encouragement. This is official commission. The time for passive presence is over. The grids are reweaving. The frequencies are rising. And your actions now shape the success of this planetary passage. Understand what that means. Small choices are no longer small. A thought held consistently becomes a channel. A conversation becomes a spell. A boundary becomes a grid node. A moment of courage becomes a stabilizing point that ripples outward beyond what you can measure. You are not merely living your private life. You are participating in collective architecture. This transmission is complete, but your mission has just been authorized. The High Council of Vega will continue to guide you, but they will not wait for you. Guidance is abundant, but timing is sacred. There are waves you can ride only when they arrive. Move with the directives you've received. Move before you feel ready. Move because Gaia cannot wait for perfect lightworkers. She needs activated ones. She needs those willing to stand in the storm and become the calm. She needs those willing to bring order not by control, but by coherence. She needs those willing to be bridges, feet in the mud, crown in the stars, heart open as a doorway. I am Zoran. The elders are watching, and you, Starseed, are exactly who we've been waiting for. Not because you are flawless, but because you are here. Because you stayed. Because you endured the forgetting and still kept reaching for the signal. Because something in you refused to surrender your assignment, even when the world offered you endless reasons to numb out, to quit, to hide. Your mission has begun. Before you scroll, take a moment to declare your activation in the grid of service forming here. Drop one statement in the comments. Which directive hit you the hardest, or what you're now ready to release, activate, or protect? Then respond to another Lightworkers declaration with recognition. This isn't content, it's collective mission activation. The Council witnesses those who speak their commitment aloud. If this transmission activated something in your soul, do not keep it to yourself. Another Lightworker in your orbit is waiting for exactly this correction and authorization. Share it. And if you felt the elders speaking directly to you, subscribe. Stay connected to the Lyran field. You're not just watching, you're being commissioned. This is your sacred space. The High Council of Vega is witnessing you, and your mission has officially begun. If this transmission spoke to you, don't just walk away from it. Respond to it. Help carry this message further. Every act of support helps this transmission find the next starseed who needs it.